Hola clase, para este video vamos a hablar sobre los verbos irregulares, ir, dar, estar, el futuro informal, las expresiones con los infinitivos y también las contracciones. So, for this video, we are going to learn about different irregular verbs in the present tense, those being ir, dar, and estar. We're going to learn about the informal future, expressions with infinitives, and also contractions in Spanish. So get your hands ready to take some notas and let's start. So first, again, there's 4 different things we're going to talk about. The first one being algunos verbos irregulares en el presente. So some irregular verbs in the present tense. Let's start with ir. What does ir mean? Ir means to go. Dar means to give. And estar means to be. Specifically for temporary things are also referring to a location. Again, if you've noticed, there are 2 words that mean to be. We've already learned one of them, ser. Ser means to be, but also estar means to be. I don't want you to be tripped up with that. For now, all you need to know is that ser refers to long-lasting characteristics, whereas estar refers to temporary conditions and or a location. So that's all I want you to know in regards to the differences between the 2 for now. Later on, you are going to learn in detail when to use each one in more detail. But for now, just know that ser refers to long-lasting characteristics and estar refers to temporary conditions and or location. Okay? Alrighty, so like I mentioned earlier, ir, dar, and estar are irregular verbs, meaning you just have to learn their conjugations. They don't follow the regular verb pattern, which we have been learning. Okay, so let's look at the conjugations of the verb ir. To say I go, you would have to say yo voy. You go, tú vas. He or she goes, él, ella, usted va. We go, nosotros vamos. Or they go, ellos, ellas, ustedes van. Again, if you want to pronounce your V's as B's, like I do, you can definitely do that. I would say, yo voy, tú vas, él, ella, usted va, nosotros vamos, or ellos, ellas, ustedes van. Again, no me importa, it doesn't matter to me which one you choose to pronounce it like, the V or the B, but just a side note for you all. And again, notice, ir is an irregular verb, so like I mentioned, it doesn't follow the normal pattern. It's an IR verb. Obviously, that's all it is, IR. But look at the endings. They actually have AR endings. It's irregular, meaning it doesn't follow the normal pattern. Let's look at dar. Dar means to give. Here it's conjugaciones, the conjugations. Yo doy means I give. Tú das, you give. Él, ella, usted da, he or she gives. Nosotros damos, we give. And ellos, ellas, ustedes dan, they give. Notice what's irregular about this is just the yo form, D-O-Y. The rest of it is normal, right? You drop the AR, you add as, a, amos, an. And finalmente, estar, which means to be, but again, only referring to temporary things or location. Yo estoy, I am. Tú estás, you are. Él, ella, usted está, he or she is. Nosotros estamos, we are. And ellos, ellas, ustedes están, they are. Notice again, 3 of them have accent marks. Estás, está, and están. Don't forget those. Alrighty. Point number 2 that we're going to be talking about on this video is el futuro informal, so the informal future. There's this, again, is called the informal future. There's another way of speaking about the future, but we're going to learn that later on. So let's talk about how to form it. To form the informal future, take the verb ir, or one of its conjugations, and put a after it to mean going to. For example, in English we say, I'm going to school. You're going to laugh, so on and so forth. So in Espanol, what does that look like? Well, the formula to form the informal future is as follows. Ir plus a plus infinitive. For example, look at this sentence. take a conjugation of ir, which we just learned how to conjugate it. The yo form for I go is voy, or boy, plus a, so you just insert it in, plus any verb you want to use in the infinitive, meaning the unconjugated verb, or a unconjugated verb. So estudiar, right? It hasn't been tampered with yet, hasn't been messed with. This means to study. So overall, it is I am going to study tomorrow. So anytime you want to talk about something that you're going to be doing in the future, this is one way you can do it. You take ir plus a plus infinitive. Okay? We'll have some practice with that later on. Point number 3 about this video, we're going to talk about some expresiones con los infinitivos, so some other expressions you can use with infinitive verbs or verbs in the infinitive. Again, you just learned ir plus a plus infinitive, and that is an expression with the infinitive, but below there are some other expressions with infinitives as well, one of which you've already learned. Tener plus que plus infinitive means to have to. We learned that when we talked about the verb tener. Another one is acabar plus de plus infinitive, which means to have just done something. So let's look at these in a little bit more detail. Tener plus que plus infinitive. An example of this used in a sentence would be, tengo que estudiar esta noche. I have to study tonight. Again, tener being conjugated tengo for I. Que, you insert it in, and a verb in the infinitive, estudiar, to say I have to study tonight. Along the same lines, tienes que comer muchos vegetales. Do you have to eat many vegetables? Okay. Another one, acabar plus de plus infinitive. Again, this means to have just done something. So looking at the first sentence, acabo de comer una hamburguesa. I just ate a hamburger. Again, acabar, you conjugate it for whatever form you want to use. In this case, it's I, plus de, plus a verb in the infinitive, comer. Acabo de comer una hamburguesa. I just ate a hamburger. What about this one? Instead of acabó, I want to change it to we. Acabamos de jugar béisbol. We just played baseball. So again, follow the formula, just conjugate this one, insert de, choose any verb you want to use, but leave it in the infinitive. Okay? And finalmente, the last point I want to talk about is contractions. Contractions are two words that combine to make one word. We use these all the time in English. An example would be can and not to form can't, right? So, in Spanish, there are actually only two contractions, and they are a plus L, which equals al, and de plus L, which equals del. So let's look at this in a little more detalle. Al means to the or at the. An example in a sentence would be, voy al gimnasio. I go to the gym. Again, if a means to and L means the, and you combine them together, it means to the. So I'm going to the gym. Del means from the or of the. An example would be, vengo del gimnasio. I'm coming from the gym. Okay? Now, unlike English, the two Spanish contractions are always mandatory. A and L cannot be beside each other and without merging into al. And in the same sense, de and L can never be beside each other. If they are, they have to merge into del. So keep that in mind. Okay? So those are the 4 points I wanted to talk to you guys about that we will discuss more in clase. But let me just ask you a few questions, see if you can answer them without looking at your notes. Let's try that. What do ir, dar, and estar mean? To go, to give, and to be, referring to temporary and a location. All right, now let's see if you can fill in the blank with the correct conjugation. Isabela blank en bus. So the verb is ir, and I want it to say Isabella goes on bus, or goes via bus. Va. Yo blank regalos a mis profesores, the verb being dar. So I want it to say, I give gifts to my professors. Yo doy. Nosotros blank en la clase de español. The verb is estar, and I want it to say, we are in the Spanish class. Estamos. Again, the verb is estar here and not ser, even though they both mean to be. But this phrase or this sentence is asking for a location, right? We are in Spanish class. Where are you at? It's a location. Spanish class. That's why we have to use estar and not ser. Tu blank a pie. You go on foot. Tu vas or vas. Mis abuelos blank el dinero. The verb being dar. It's my grandparents dan el dinero. Okay? What does ir a plus infinitive mean? To be going to. What does tener que mean? To have to. And what does acabar de mean? To have just done something. What is a contraction? Contractions are two words that combine to make one. How many contractions are there in Spanish? Dos. What are the two Spanish contractions? Al and del. And that is it for este video. So hopefully you took buenas notas, notas excelentes, so some excellent notes. Mañana we're going to discuss these things in más detalle. Don't worry, no te preocupes. If you did not understand some of these things, we're going to discuss it in more detail. Gracias, chao, adios.